Every year around this time, I start getting the same kind of message from parents, from the teens and college students I work with, from adults, and honestly, sometimes from myself. It goes something like this. I do not know what happened. Summer started. I had a whole list of things I was going to do. And now I'm just not doing any of them. I cannot seem to get started on anything. The days are just disappearing. Sound familiar? What I want to explain today is why that happens, because it's not a character flaw, it's not laziness, and it's not unique to you. It is an executive functioning response to a very specific change in your environment. And once you understand what is actually going on, you can do something about it. Here is the thing that most people do not realize. External structure does an enormous amount of executive functioning work for you. When you have a schedule, a start time, a place you're supposed to be, a sequence of events that moves you from one thing to the next, your brain does not have to generate that momentum from scratch. The structure generates it for you. Task initiation, time management, working memory, planning, all of these executive functioning skills are partially offloaded to the calendar. The bell schedule, the meeting invitation, the deadline someone else set. You still use these skills, but the environment is carrying a significant share of the load. And then summer comes. The schedule lightens or disappears. The external cues vanish. And suddenly, every single day starts with an unstructured, blank slate that requires your brain to generate all of that momentum entirely on its own. So for a brain with strong executive functioning, that transition is uncomfortable but manageable. For a brain with executive functioning gaps, which includes most people with ADHD, many highly creative people, a significant number of teenagers, and more adults than would care to admit it, that transition is genuinely hard. The brain that runs beautifully on a track goes sideways on an open road. This is why the student who made honor roll in May cannot seem to read a single book in June. It's why the professional who crushes it at work during the year completely loses momentum on the personal projects they said they would finally tackle this summer. It's why your teenager sleeps until noon, not because they're being dramatic, but because without an external reason to get up, their brain genuinely cannot generate one. So, what do you do about it? The answer is not to fill every hour with a rigid schedule. That misses the entire point of the summer, and it usually backfires. The answer is to build enough scaffolding to give the brain what it lost when the external structure disappeared. Here's what that looks like in practice. The first piece is anchor points. Pick 2 or 3 non-negotiable, consistent times in the day that stay the same regardless of what else is happening. A consistent wake-up time, a midday check-in, an end-of-day wind-down. These are not a schedule. They are anchor points that give the day a shape without over-controlling it. The brain needs landmarks. Just give it 3. The second piece is a daily intention, not a to-do list, just one thing. Every morning before anything else, name the one thing that matters most today. Not 10 things, 1. The executive functioning system has a much easier time initiating toward a single clear target than it does sorting through a list and deciding where to start. The third piece is environment design. If you want to read this summer, create a reading spot that signals reading. If you want to work on something creative, set up the space the night before so it's already waiting for you in the morning. The environment does executive functioning work for you. Design it intentionally. The fourth piece is social accountability, especially for teens and young adults. The brain initiates much more reliably when another person is involved. Study together, work alongside someone, text a friend when you start, and when you finish. It does not have to be complicated. It just has to involve another human. If you are a parent watching this, I want you to understand that your child's summer slump is not defiance and it's not always laziness. It is an executive functioning response to losing the scaffolding that was holding them up. They need a different kind of structure, not no structure. And if you're watching this for yourself as an adult who knows this pattern well, the same logic applies. You are not unmotivated. You are unscaffolded. There's a real difference, and it is entirely fixable. Summer is not the enemy of productivity. Unexamined structure loss is. Build the anchors, name the intention, design the environment. Give your brain what it needs to actually show up for this season, especially since you determined that this year would be different, because it can be. Real skills, real life, real change. I'm Ashley Mangione, Executive Functioning Coach, published author, and speaker. I look forward to seeing you next week.